When people hear the word Sparta, they often think of fearless warriors, strict discipline, and the iconic phrase, "This is Sparta." But behind the Hollywood image lies a real culture, one built on endurance, unity, and an unbreakable code of honor. The Spartans were not just soldiers, they were part of a complex system designed to produce the most efficient warriors the ancient world had ever seen. Every part of their society, from childhood to death, was shaped by the demands of war. In this video, we're going far beyond the usual cliches to explore 15 little-known facts about the Spartans, surprising details about how they trained, fought, and lived that will completely change the way you see them. Most ancient armies relied on noise to intimidate enemies, screaming, banging weapons, or war cries. Spartans did the opposite. From a young age, they were taught to fight without speaking a word. This eerie silence in battle became one of their psychological weapons. Imagine facing a wall of bronze-armored men moving in perfect sync, not shouting, not breaking ranks, just advancing with calm, deadly precision. To their enemies, it felt unnatural. To the Spartans, it was discipline in action. Yes, the Spartans used music, but not for entertainment. They marched and even fought to the rhythm of flutes and drums. This wasn't just ceremony, it served a real tactical purpose. The beat helped hundreds of men keep time as they moved in phalanx formation, each shield protecting the man beside him. A single misstep could break the formation and expose them to enemy attacks. The rhythm acted like a heartbeat for the unit, unifying body, mind, and spear. We've all seen depictions of Spartans in flowing red cloaks, but there's a practical reason behind that choice. The deep crimson color helped mask blood, both their own and that of their enemies. In battle, showing pain or bleeding openly could lower morale or attract enemy strikes. By hiding wounds, the Spartans maintained an aura of invincibility. But the red cloak also had psychological power. As a wall of red moved toward them, enemies would often freeze, overwhelmed by the unity and intensity of the Spartan fort. Most ancient soldiers wore some form of sandals or protection on their feet. Spartans did not. They trained and fought barefoot, believing it gave them better balance, faster movement, and made their bodies tougher. This wasn't just about toughness for its own sake. In rocky Greek terrain, slipping or stumbling could cost a life. By conditioning their feet from childhood, Spartans eliminated one more potential weakness. Enemies, in contrast, often struggled with uneven ground or lost traction, a small but crucial advantage in close combat. If a Spartan lost his sword in battle, it was shameful. But if he lost his shield, it was unforgivable. Why? Because the shield didn't just protect the warrior, it protected the man to his left. The Spartan phalanx was a wall of shields, each overlapping the next. A single missing shield could break the defense and endanger everyone. That's why Spartan mothers were said to tell their sons, "Come back with your shield or on it." The message was clear: never run, never drop your shield, and never break the formation. While most Greek city-states valued democracy or debate, Sparta was a military machine. From birth, citizens were molded into roles: soldier, mother, or servant of the state. Spartans didn't choose careers or pursue art or wealth. Their life belonged to Sparta. Even meals were communal, marriages were state-approved, and individuality was discouraged. Despite their reputation for direct combat, Spartans weren't above trickery. They sometimes pretended to retreat, only to lure enemies into an ambush. They would attack at night or hide soldiers in terrain to surprise their foes. To the Spartans, victory was more important than glory. Confidence was necessary, but ego was not tolerated. Even young warriors who showed off or bragged about strength were punished, sometimes through isolation or forced silence. Spartans believed that pride weakened the unit. A soldier who thought himself better than others might break formation or take reckless risks. Humility, not heroism, held their ranks together. Before marching into battle, Spartans would sing ancient hymns and war chants to gods like Ares and Apollo. These rituals weren't just spiritual. They helped build unity, sharpen focus, and ease fear. Singing in formation created a rhythm that bonded the soldiers and reminded them they were part of something greater. One of the secrets to Spartan endurance was rotation. In the heat of combat, soldiers at the front would be replaced by those in the rear, allowing rest, preventing exhaustion, and maintaining formation. This system, simple but effective, gave the Spartans an advantage over enemies who fought until collapse. While most armies fueled up before a fight, Spartans sometimes fasted or ate very lightly. They believed fighting on a full stomach dulled the senses and slowed the body. Instead, they relied on mental focus, adrenaline, and strict bodily control, turning hunger into readiness. In Sparta, long hair was not just fashion, it was a symbol of honor and strength. Spartan boys were forced to shave their heads during their harsh military training. Only after completing that training were they allowed to grow their hair long. Before battle, they would carefully comb it as a final ritual, a quiet way to show they had no fear of death. To their enemies, this calm preparation was often more terrifying than any weapon. In Spartan ranks, fear wasn't just personal weakness. It was seen as dangerous to the entire unit. If one man panicked, it could ripple through the phalanx. That's why Spartans trained to suppress fear entirely. Public punishments for cowardice were brutal, and even facial expressions of fear could be disciplined. They trained to be emotionally silent, not just physically. Despite the myth of lone Spartan heroes, the real power of Sparta came from teamwork. The phalanx was sacred. No man was expected to be a solo fighter, only a cog in the war machine. In fact, a Spartan who charged forward alone was considered selfish, not brave. Discipline and synchronization always mattered more than individual skill. In Sparta, only two kinds of people were allowed marked tombstones: men who died in battle and women who died in childbirth. Every Spartan was raised to believe that dying for the state was the ultimate purpose. Anything less was considered a wasted life. This belief gave them terrifying resolve. They did not fear death because they were raised to embrace it. The Spartans were not just fearless warriors, they were the product of a society that sacrificed everything for strength, survival, and unity. Their methods were extreme, their rules were brutal, but their impact on history is undeniable. They've inspired books, movies, armies, and leaders for centuries. But behind the legends are real people, trained from birth to die without fear, live without ego, and fight without hesitation. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into Spartan history, consider subscribing for more deep dives into ancient civilizations. Leave a comment below with which warrior culture you'd like us to explore next. And remember, true strength isn't about power, it's about discipline.